Demand podcast. I'm your host, Carissa Karner, and today I am joined by the incredible Ali Skylar. Yes, she is the founder of the online business development company called Capitalize on Your Uniqueness. Ali, I love that name. And for over 15 years, she and her couplepreneur husband, I love that word too. You have so many great words. Jamie Greenberg, that's her husband. They've been helping purpose and passion-driven entrepreneurs learn how to package, market, and monetize their expertise into high-level coaching and training platforms to help people scale their businesses. Now, Ali is also the founder and personal growth blogger at Sucky To Soulful, where she helps people transform from, get this, from "Ahh Crap" into "Holy Shift." And she's even written a musical called What About Me? Now, that's not all. Ali has also developed something called V-Air. This is a healthy line of underwear for women that lets your vagina breathe. We'll even show you, if you're watching the video, what a pair of those underwear look like later in the show. So, Ali, tell us in your own words about you and what you do, what you bring to the world.
Oh, well, look, first of all, thank you for that great introduction. Really appreciate that. So what kind of brought me into this world? What we do, my husband and I have been working together for 35 years, and we started out doing musical theater. I was a songwriter and he was a performer, and we wrote a musical theater program for children and families, and we toured it all over the country for 15 years. We made a business out of it, which was pretty cool.
Wow.
So we've always been into, and the name of the show was Imagine If: The Cure for TVitis. So it's about showing kids ways in which they could turn off their TVs and turn on their imaginations, to really encourage how important the imagination is in our daily life and in really figuring out who we are and how we want to be in the planet. So just starting from that business and moving forward into the different businesses that we've done and so forth, and now our business that you kindly mentioned here, is that we're all about helping people really tune into what their passion is, what their, what really lights them up every day, and how to make a business out of that. I think that's been the biggest challenge for most people who have a dream or a vision. It's how do you turn it into a business? Because a lot of people have great ideas, very creative. They have, amazing things that they want to share with the world. But if you don't really know how to create a business out of it, then it just kind of fizzles away. It's very hard to make it into something where you're doing it on a daily basis as part of your life.
It's so true, Ali. Yeah, it's so true. I just wanted to share that I think it's incredible how you and your husband created a business out of theater, because I'm a theater kid myself. I did children's theater, and I know how difficult it can be to actually make money, to make a living from theater. So you have such a rich foundation to be able to help people take their passion, take their purpose, and turn that into something that's sustainable.
Oh, thank you. We try. That's really what our goal has been, because we've had to work at it too. It's been trial and error for us. And over the last 15 or so years, we finally figured out a methodology and a way in which we can help people do this so that they can do exactly what you just mentioned. There's so many artists that are out there that really don't realize that they're solopreneurs. They think they have a talent, they know how to audition or whatever, but there's just so much more to being in your industry than just being talented. It's really about using the left and the right side of your brain, both of them. It's really, and honing those skills. And I think over the years, both Jamie and I, through our different jobs individually and then coming together as a team, have really learned how to develop those skills so that we can bring a foundation to whatever it is we want to do, and then teach our clients how to bring a foundation to whatever it is they want to do, whether they're a doctor, whether they're a musician, whether they are an engineer, whether they are a person who is a CEO that's into serving other people with very going out and creating organizations to help CEOs really learn how to be more giving as opposed to profit oriented. So it doesn't matter who you are. Everything is creative as far as I'm concerned. Whether you're doing dishes or raising kids or doing your business or writing a concerto, or dancing, or, the large CEO of a company. I think creativity is the essence and is the basis of everything that we do.
Yes, that is so true. And there's that missing link when there's the creativity, knowing how to package it, knowing how to take it out into the world. That's so often the part that's missing. And that's what you bring in and you help people do, which I just love that. I love that you also get the creative side.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's been where Jamie and I have really, where our superpower has been, especially working with our clients, is that we have a very deep understanding of the artistic path and journey, and how to kind of take that and put that into a platform, a place where you can really make it work for yourself. Like I'll
Mhm.
just, like I know my daughter went to musical theater university college, and they were teaching them about auditioning and how to be a performer and so forth, but there were really no business courses. And once she graduated from school, the only thing these young people think they can do is go out and be a waiter or a waitress before they get their big break. And
Mhm.
most of them end up not going into that profession because they really don't know how to make a business out of what they love.
Yes, I'm living proof of that. I did that. I have a degree in theater and I I also have a degree in waiting tables. Uh,
I
so
know.
Ali, tell me too about how speaking has played a part in your success as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. How have you used speaking in all its forms? Whether it's standing on a stage or doing a podcast interview like this one, or going live, doing webinars. How have you used speaking?
Well, I think all of us use speaking in every aspect of our life. I mean, it's part of how we communicate who we are, the message that we have for the person that we're speaking to, right? And the ability also to, I think speaking is not just about speaking, it's also about listening. I
Mm.
think that you have to be a good listener to also be a good speaker. So for us, it's all about learning how to really communicate authentically who you are. Because a lot of people think they're supposed to communicate this way or that way, or they get very uptight in how they present themselves. And I think one of the things we encourage in our clients is to just really figure out who you are and find the best way to communicate that to the people that you're speaking to. Don't base it on what other people do, but really figure out who you are. And I think a lot of people are uncomfortable speaking because they don't have confidence in themselves. They don't have confidence in what they're saying. So another element of speaking is learning to, first of all, I mean, the first thing for us is figure out who you are, right? Figure out who you are, your values, what's important to you, what you want to communicate. But secondly, it's also about having confidence in what you're saying. Like if you're
Mhm.
saying something that's true to who you are, you're going to have a lot more confidence than if you're saying something that you think people want to hear.
Mm.
That's the second thing. The third thing is know your audience. Really learn who
Mhm.
your audience is. Learn who you're speaking to. First, ask questions. Do some due diligence in terms of finding out who you're speaking to, what's important to them, what they're interested in. And then, take who you are and bring that to the topic so that when you do speak, these people are going to listen to you. And they're also going to take note of what you're saying and internalize it in a way that they want to engage with you more. They want to come back. Because I think part of speaking is that you want to communicate a message, but you also want people to be so interested that they want to come back for more.
Mm.
That's a good speaker. When they're done, you're like, oh, I want to talk to that person. I want to read that person. I want to know more about that person. I want to hear more about what they have to say. So
Yes.
for me, speaking is a part of every aspect of your life, business, professionally, personally. I mean, I know for me, I've had to learn how to talk to my kids because my
Mhm.
kids think, they process, they do things differently than I do. So it's about learning how to speak in a way that they're going to be able to communicate with me and I'm going to be able to communicate with them.
Yes, which translates exactly to what you were saying about, know yourself and know your audience, that you need to know yourself and know your audience, whether it's your kids or you're standing on stage speaking to 1,000 people,
Right.
to know your audience so that you can speak in a way that they understand. And it all comes down to that listening, to be able to listen to them and understand who they are, and listening to yourself and understanding who you are.
Yeah, it's a really important element to speaking. I think a lot of people don't even talk about, which is the listening part. And
Mhm.
I think you just made a great point. It's about listening to yourself first,
Mhm.
and then learning to listen to other people. I think a lot of us don't. I mean, we always have this conversation in our head going on, that sometimes it's not really the conversation you want to listen to. It's about going a little bit deeper and really listening to that real inner gut voice that's talking to you about who you are and what you want. So I think that's a great point, by the way, listening to yourself first and then listening to others.
Yes. Yes, the two keys. And I always say it takes time to know how to be yourself when you're in the spotlight. When
Mm,
you're in front of people, it takes time, which seems strange because of course we're us. We know, you know who you are. But when you step out in front of people, suddenly it can become more difficult to be natural, to be yourself, to be, that word that now we use so often, to be authentic.
yep.
And it takes time to learn how to do that. And I think what you're talking about of learning who you are and getting to know yourself is a foundational piece of that.
Yes, I agree. And you brought that up, which I think is also really, really important. I think people forget, it's interesting because as you said that, I was kind of flashed back into the first time I went on to a networking call like 2.5 years ago, when the pandemic hit. And in general, when we did our business, Jamie was the salesperson. Jamie did sales. I did a lot of the content marketing. I do a lot of the organization, the producing, the program development, and so forth. So getting into the sales place was like, oh my God. And I remember that first meeting, and it's exactly like what you just said. You're on a Zoom call with 25 or 30 people, and then they ask you, oh, quick, tell us something about business. And I'll never forget that first time. It was really tough and scary. And it was hard for me to be myself because, first of all, I think coming back to our other point, I didn't really know who these people were. I didn't really know what they wanted, what they were looking for. So I came in not really understanding how I could really express myself. And I would say that after meetings and meetings, and I think we all have learned this over the last 2.5 years, you get so much better at getting onto these networking calls because now you understand what people are looking for. You understand how you want to present yourself. It's a skill. And I think one of the things that I tell a lot of our clients is be patient. It's going to be uncomfortable at first. If you're not used to speaking and you're not used to communicating to people, I mean, communicating online is also very different than communicating on a stage with 1,000 people. You have to learn another technique on how to speak. But it's just a matter of patience and practice. And like anything, I really believe that anybody can get good at becoming a good communicative speaker. We've had clients who are bombastic and all over the place. And then we've had clients that talk very quietly, and this is how they present themselves, and that's who they are.
Yes.
So it's just about learning how to figure out who you are and then really shape it and mold it in a way that works so that you can attract the right people for what you're doing.
I love too that you acknowledge it's going to be uncomfortable. That practice, doing something new, learning a new skill, you're going to be uncomfortable at first. And if you acknowledge it, say, okay, yeah, this is going to be uncomfortable. In a way, it makes it easier that you're naming it, you're acknowledging it. Yeah, this is the reality. It's going to be weird. It's going to be uncomfortable.
And it's funny because I do a lot of the content development in our business. So one of the big things that we work on with our clients is a signature work platform. It's where
Mm.
we take their information, we take all their expertise, their brilliance, and we organize it into this 21 module format that's basically problem and solution based. And when the clients are starting, we do a lot of it for them. We get a lot of the information and then put a kind of a format together, and then we mold it and shape it with them. When our clients are starting to do this, most of them get uncomfortable because they're not all of them are writers. The clients that I have that are writers, it's not a big deal. But the clients that are not used to this type of organizing of your expertise, they get uncomfortable. I say, look, I'm just letting you know right now, you're not going to have fun for the next week. That's it. But I'm telling you, once you get into the flow, once you get to the fourth stage of what we're doing, I'm telling you, it's going to be like a rocket takes off. And every client has had that experience. And I realized that if I hadn't told them that in the beginning, I think a lot of clients would have been much more hesitant to continue with the process. I think just the fact that they knew that it was going to be uncomfortable. And I said, look, I'm with you every step of the way. So you're going to be uncomfortable, but I'm going to be with you every step of the way until you get it. And it's going to work. And it usually, I would say, usually it does work. I'm thinking about all of our clients. It's for me as the coach, it's always exciting to see people when they get to the fourth stage and like, oh yeah, I got this now. I'm good. I'm like, cool, this is cool. And I remind them, I said, remember when I told you it was gonna be uncomfortable? And they're like, yeah. So then they're like, very confident. Then I take them to the next stage of our program where you have to do like a deep dive instructional guide. And then they start getting uncomfortable again. But at least this time they know, okay, I'm going to be a little uncomfortable in the beginning because I don't know. This is new to me, but I'm cool. Now they know the process. So I think once you take people through their first uncomfortable process, then they understand how to deal with new things and do new things to up level themselves.
Yes.
In a way that's it's exciting. I tell my kids that too. I think a lot of us think that we're not supposed to be uncomfortable. We live in a society that everything's supposed to be comfortable. You're supposed to be comfortable, safety, security. And I really don't think, if I've learned anything, I don't think that's really a natural part of being a human being on this planet. I think it's about learning how to be comfortable with the uncomfortable, as long as you have faith in yourself that you know you're going to stick it through and make it work. That's where the confidence has to come in. You can be uncomfortable as long as you have a drive and a motivation to, even if I'm uncomfortable, I'm going to make this work.
Yes.
If you're uncomfortable and you don't have that drive and motivation and you're not confident about yourself, it's going to be rough. But if you bring confidence into that journey, then you can move through the uncomfortability. It's kind of, I compare it to giving birth to children. I mean, it's intense, very intense.
And it makes me think about what you said. You said when we were having a conversation the other day that it's not just that content is king, but organized content is king. And as you're talking about this, the discomfort and organizing your material and your 21, can you say
modules,
that? Your 21 modules, that I hear you talking about this organization and the discomfort of getting there. But once it's there, everything's organized. And I'd love to hear more about that it's not just content is king, but organized content is king.
Well, yeah. Well, I tend to be a very organized, structured person. So I find that, especially in our business, we have a lot of clients come to us with brilliant ideas, great epiphanies, workshops, teaching skills, all these different things, but they're not organized in a way that, for me, I'm very linear. I want you to take me on a journey from here to there. I want the steps. I want the path. Some people think, like all over the place, and it's very hard for them to create a path. For us, what we're trying to do, our goal with our clients is to create a path, because most of our clients are also coaches or consultants or people that are going to be working with other people. So the more you can get people on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 a path, the easier it is to take them on a journey from here to there. So for us, it's about an instructional design that allows people to build on each concept. So by the time you get to the end, it all makes sense. It all comes together. It's like building a house. You have all these different parts, but you build one floor at a time. You don't build the top floor and then the second floor and the fifth floor and the fourth floor. You got to build from the bottom on up, I think. I mean, I'm not an architect or builder, but I would, what I've seen with
right to me.
It's usually built from the bottom on up. It doesn't start at the 56th floor and go down. So, once you get that structure going, you got the 56 floors, then maybe you can fill in different floors here and there, but you got to start from the bottom up to build up to those floors. So that's where organized content is king. And bringing it back to your point about speaking, when you speak to people, the more organized, if you're taking them on a logical path, the more they're going to follow you, and they're going to be able to remember what you said at step number 1. If you want step number 1, step number 2, step number 3, and it's all building on each other, then they're going to remember. They're going to be able to build with you in their mind. Whereas if you go step 1, step 5, step 4, step 3, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't create a holistic structure that then allows them to know exactly what you're trying to tell them. What's the exceptional result that you're trying to get from conveying to them through your speaking, your speaking engagement.
Exactly. I think I shared this with you. One of my favorite quotes is from Patricia Fripp. She's a speaking coach and an exceptional speaker. And she said, structure doesn't freeze you, Freeze. It frees you, Frees. It frees you. It gives you freedom. It's like with your analogy about the house. If you don't build the skeleton, lay the foundation and build the skeleton and the structure of the house first, then the walls aren't even going to stay up. And when you have a structure, I think it's easier for the speaker because they have that foundation to put their material into. And like you say, it's so much easier for the audience because then that material is digestible. It doesn't feel chaotic, like you're going on this crazy journey from point 1 to point 5 to point 7, like you said.
Right.
But you're being able to take that material in a way that builds upon itself.
Yes, perfectly said. I think you expressed that really well. And that's exactly, I think, digestible is also a great word. People need to digest what you say, and you don't just, when you digest food, it also nutrifies you. It gets taken to all the different parts of the body to nourish you. So when people can digest your message and digest your information, then they can get benefit from it. If they
Ooh,
can't digest it, then it's like people who have trouble digesting food. They don't get the benefit of the food, and then their
ooh,
brain doesn't function well.
I love that. I want to like give that some
Ooh,
snaps.
I just
Yes.
love with that. I like that too.
Yes, when your material is digestible, it nourishes people. They can take the nourishment and you make a stronger impact.
Yes, I love it. That's
Woo.
great. Great.
So I want to talk about your underwear line, but I have one more question first. We have to get to that.
Side hustle anyway, so it's okay, but it's fun.
Tell me a little bit about how you help people capitalize on their uniqueness and how that might translate to our audience, entrepreneurs, experts, clinicians, people who want to use speaking and maybe already are speakers. How
Sure.
can they capitalize on their uniqueness?
Well, we believe that everybody's unique. I know that's kind of trite, but we think everybody inside them has a core being or part of them that is unique. And what we're finding is, especially in this online market, is it's really important to find a differentiator, your gems of brilliance or genius that help you stand out in your market. Like if you're a healthcare person and you're teaching about losing weight, how many other healthcare people are there out there teaching people how to lose weight? What makes you different? Why am I going to pick you?
Mm,
So for us, it's really about, we think everybody comes in with these unique differences. And we get very exciting, I guess, because of the way we've lived our life and we've kind of based our life on, trying to capitalize on our uniqueness. And we've done that, which is very exciting. So we try to help other people do that. So I think being unique right now, especially online, especially because we're in a place where there are so many coaches doing different things, but it's helping our people really. I think uniqueness too is something that people have shied away from a lot, because I think we live in a society that tries to make everybody the same in a lot of ways, tries
mm,
to make things very homogeneous so that people can understand it. And, everybody goes to school and learns the same thing. School does not encourage uniqueness. School does not encourage individuality. So we're not really taught about that. So I think when we get to the place where we're adults and doing business, it's hard for us to tune into that part of ourselves, which
mm.
we believe is just kind of a universe given trait that we all have. It's like your originality kind of comes down. Those are your divine downloads that, like, they're yours. That's what makes you special. So sometimes we have to help people kind of shift their mindset into understanding that it's okay to be who they are. It's okay to be different. And that because if they're different, that doesn't mean you're going to be ostracized right now. See, like when we were kids, you don't want to be different because then the kids make fun of you.
Mhm.
But right now in online business, if you are different, you stand out and
Mm.
you'll be seen, and you'll have a way to attract people to you because you're saying something that's also, I think, tuning into their desire to be unique. And sometimes most people are not always comfortable with that.
Absolutely. And you shared with me when we were talking the other day about how you help people find their passion, their expertise, these things that make them them, and then combine them together, which I think is such a cool thing that you offer in your program is to identify that and put those pieces together to help someone stand out in a way that is utterly unique and utterly them.
Yeah, very much so. Thank you for sharing that, by the way, because that's exactly what we do with our clients. I mean, we have clients who come in and have a passion for something and they're doing a business here and they don't know how to, like, how do I get my passion for mythology into my business? And that's what Jamie and I do. We kind of put it all together so that you can, share what's really important to you and put that into a business sense. And I think really what we do is we help people take their right and their left brain and put it together
Ooh,
and then share that with people. I think a lot
ooh,
of people move from either one, we're taught left brain or right brain. What we do, and I think Jamie and I are good at, is being able to use both sides of our brain. And I think that's where we also help our clients, is to see that creative part of them that part of them that they just love, that they really want to focus on, whether it's like one of our clients climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, and we brought that into his knowledge work signature platform. We put in all of our modules, everything about his mountain climb related to him helping other people with business development, or we had a client who's a musician and she's also a purpose development coach. How do you bring her love for music and her musicianship into her work platform, which is basically every module is, paralleled with musical references about building a business. So this is where we love to help people kind of bring in, like you said, bring in those different parts of themselves, because I'm sure you know this. I mean, a big word these days is holistic.
Mm-hmm.
And just as much as there's holistic health, we also think there's holistic business and there's a holistic you. How do we bring all those parts of you?
Ooh.
It's like when you introduce me, I have this business, which I love with my husband. I also have written a musical. I'm a songwriter. I also have invented there's different parts of me that I just want to bring into everything that I'm doing. And then I feel whole when I do that. And I can go to sleep at night feeling like, okay, I compare it to like, when you're married to someone, they don't fulfill every single aspect of your needs. You have a husband, but then you need friends to do this, or somebody else to go bowling with, or somebody else to, go sleigh riding with, or whatever it is that, you have these different people in your life that when you incorporate all of them, you just feel whole and complete. It's the same thing when we're helping our clients build a business. There's all these different parts of you, personally and professionally, that we want to put into a focused intention so that you can really be excited about what you're doing and you can express that excitement to the people you're working with.
I love that. And so often what we need is somebody like you, somebody from outside of us to see that and to help us package it. That, if you're listening and you find, gosh, that sounds great, but I don't know how to do that, it is incredibly helpful. I've certainly found in my business when you have somebody who can look from the outside and see what you're inside the forest. You may not be able to have that bird's eye view and see the whole forest, but when you have someone like Ali who can see the whole forest, she might be able to help you, or she can definitely help you see the things that you may not be putting together.
Yeah, and that's what we love to do. I really enjoy that. It's almost like a puzzle, like to us, people come in, they have all their puzzle pieces. How are we going to put these puzzle pieces together so we can have a final puzzle that's really going to allow them to do what they want to do and create a lifestyle? For us, it's not just about making money. It's about creating a lifestyle, because we believe that professionally and personally, it's all one. So how do we help you create a lifestyle? That's really what's important to us, whether it's 6 or 7 figures or whether it's one figure, whatever it is, but something that's going to make you want to get up in the morning and feel good that you're here doing the work that you felt you were here to do, that you came to do, which is very.
Oh, so powerful. And I know we teased it a little while back, but would you please share with us, especially for the women who are listening, share with us about your awesome underwear line?
I would love to. I came up with this line of underwear called V-Air underwear. And I'm going to and they have a breathable crotch.
That is so
And the
cool.
reason I did that is because I've always been taught to let your vagina breathe.
Yes.
Very soft. We have them in a bikini style, and I have them in nude as well. And I've always been taught that. And I've actually had I don't have UTIs. I don't get yeast infections. I'm very into wearing clothes that are not tight and squishing me all the time. So I had a friend who's a seamstress, and we were talking about it. We were like, let's put a prototype together. Just try it. So we did this about 1.5 years ago. And I just started, I sent it to people. I did a survey. I sent it out. I did it on my side time when I could. And I got a really great response from it. So now I have about 250 pieces and I'm selling them. And I'm looking to find out if there's a market for them. I'm also, I'm looking for an investor, somebody that can help me really put the business up online and get it going, and so forth. And it's, with my other business and other things that I'm doing, I can't give my total attention to this right now, but I would love to find a partner who could really do this with me. Because I think I love the underwear. I've been getting a great response from them, whether it's nurses, personal trainers, moms, young women, older women. It's been very exciting. And I didn't want to start making them until I saw if people liked them. So I was excited to see that people were into the underwear. It's not for everybody. You don't want to wear these when you're having a period. You don't want to wear this if you're having a discharge. But like, to me, if you're working out or if you're wearing a skirt, or if you just want to, like, even at night, I know some women wear underwear at night, if you want to wear underwear at night, so at night your vagina can breathe. And what I'd love to do with this, if this does take off, and I've actually emailed Lori Grenier's company. I'm hoping they might get back to me soon.
Oh, fingers crossed.
But I'd love to put this mesh into pajamas. I'd love to put it into shapewear, because I think shapewear is just very, I know it's very attractive, but it's very not healthy.
Yes, yes,
Put
yes.
it to the bottom of the Spanx. I was going to approach Sarah Blakey too.
Oh, yes. So are they available for purchase?
Yes, if people email me at aliskylar1@gmail.com, I'm selling them for $10 a pair, and then shipping, which unfortunately is a little expensive no matter how I ship it, but it's like $4.50 for shipping. So if people buy one pair, it's 10. If they buy 3 pair, it's 25, and then the shipping remains at $4.50. So that's what I'm doing right now. And I have nude and I have black, and I will show them one more time just so people can see them.
Yes, show them off. Show them off. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and just imagine how comfortable.
And they were made in Romania from an all women's factory. And I'm going to give 1% of the underwear sales to my friend Saida Garrett, who runs the Pastoralist Child Foundation.
Oh.
And her organization just celebrated 10 years, and they work to decrease female genital mutilation in Kenya, or they're working in Kenya right now. So she's helped to decrease it by 30% over there. They do educational workshops. They help the young girls go to school. So she does great work. And I thought that would be a good organization, because again, it's about vaginal health.
Oh, yes. Perfect.
Women taking care of their vaginas and so forth. So
yes. So you can have comfort and support a cause. Love it.
Yes.
So Ali, if there was one thing that you want people to take away from our conversation today, what would that be?
Oh boy. One thing. I think that what we talked about before, that learning to speak and communicate who you are is really such a valuable skill, whether you're doing it in business or personally, and that not to be afraid of learning how to do that, because it's just such an essential, part of everything we do in every moment. Whether you're shopping at the store, whether you're driving in your car and you're talking to someone, whether you're, buying something at a store, whether you're trying to get clients on a networking event, and what I found is that when you learn how to be a confident speaker, there's an energy about yourself that you just bring with you in everything that you do. That I really feel that learning how to speak is one of the greatest skills anybody can learn in order to build their confidence in themselves. And I think it's just such a valuable asset to anybody, personally and professionally. So if they get anything, I would hope that they would get that from our conversation, as well as when you're speaking, also learn to be a great listener.
Yes. Oh, I couldn't agree more. Learn to be a great listener and lean into that discomfort to learn how to be yourself when you speak. I like to say, let more of you shine through.
Yes.
Be yourself when you speak.
And experiment. A lot of times I've been on calls sometimes where it doesn't go well. It doesn't go well. I don't like the way that I presented myself. And learning also how to forgive yourself and understand that there's no mistakes. There's just learning, and there's just the next time. And just be committed to the exceptional result, which is you're going to be a speaker that feels good about yourself and can hold yourself and can present yourself in any situation, whether it's an online networking group or in front of 1,000 people or at your dinner table, with company, whatever it is. I think that that's the important part too, is just to be committed to wanting to be able to do that well.
Being you wherever you go.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, Ali, thank you so much.
Thank you. It's great.
And if people want to book a call with you, if they'd like to work with you, is there a way that they can do that?
Yes, if they go to my Calendly link, which I think you're going to list it as well, but it's basically calendly.com//Ali Skylar. And that's where they can book a call with me. They can also email me at aliskylar1, ALISKYLAR1 @gmail.com. Pretty easy.
Perfect.
And so they can get me out of my email or my Calendly link. Sorry, I can't say Calendly.
It's such a hard word to say. And I'm just
Calendly.
gonna,
Why did they come up with that? That's such a bad word.
I know it looks great with your eyeballs, but it's hard to say with your mouth.
That's hard to say. We have a client who has a program called Magnificent Significance. I'm like, Jim, dude, it's such a hard significance. I can say that 10 times. And he's yelling at me. He's like, it's not my fault, your husband's fault. He came up with that name. So, I'm like, okay, I guess I can't complain about that one. But there's certain words that are just, and then I have another client who likes to use the word substantive. And I have a hard time with that word. So every time he uses that, I always have to find a different word. It's like, Scott, no, we're not using, I can't say that word. So
That's
yes,
Calendly,
I am going to contact the Calendly people and tell them they have to change their name. That's
yes,
my next.
yeah, absolutely.
When we get off a call right now, that's my next thing to do.
Good use of your time. I'm just going to spell that out for our listeners. It will be in the show notes, but if you're listening or you're watching on YouTube, it's CALENDLY.com. That's calendly.com / Ali Skylar. So it's it's ALISKYLAR is how you spell Ali's name. I hope you got all that because I was.
Calendly, you have to do www.calendly.com / right.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got to do that as well. I did that too. I just went Calendly, but yeah, those 3
All right.
W's are important.
Great. Good to know. Oh, Ali, thank you again. Thank you so much. This has been a wonderful conversation, and I am so happy to be able to share all of your wisdom and your sparkly aliveness with our listeners.